So, have you ever heard the saying, don't meet your idols because you might be disappointed? Well, when it comes to Michael Jackson, I mean, I've never heard a story like that. Usually, when fans meet Michael Jackson, they talk about how kind he was, how receptive he was to having conversations with them, and just how the experience was otherworldly. It was just so cool to be able to meet Michael Jackson. And so I thought one day I'd have my turn. I flew across the world, literally, to meet Michael Jackson, and it went terribly wrong. I'm going to be telling you guys about the time that I almost met Michael Jackson in 2006, and I couldn't do this story alone. Gotta tell you guys, but also my favorite Michael Jackson fan, MJJ Anonymous.
Hi, everybody. Hi, MJFANGIRL. How are you doing today? How are you?
I'm
It's
good.
nice to be here. And yeah, we're looking forward to hearing your almost met Michael Jackson story. It's going to be pretty exciting and a little sad, but that's okay. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that didn't meet him at all or even come that close.
right. Yes.
Some of us, actually.
Yes, yes. And that's Solomon. Solomon, actually, our producer here, has met Michael Jackson. Solomon, would you like to tell us about your story?
Oh, well, I want to recite the phone call first when you called the studio and you were like, oh, I have this Michael Jackson podcast, da 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 da. And I was like, oh, yeah, Michael. Yeah, I met Michael.
So nonchalantly, you guys. And I was like, what? Like, I wasn't sure, like, if he
Yeah.
was joking.
And in fact, yeah, I sang with him. And then she was like, what? It was a funny story. But I used to be in a group in South Central Los Angeles that, like taught singing and performing and stuff for kids in the inner city. And every now and then they'd get these opportunities to like have the kids exposed to the larger media world. And so one of the opportunities came up where they needed a children's choir and an adult choir for something that some performer was doing. We didn't really know who it was. So we drive to the studio and we're waiting. And we'd waiting in the lobby for a while. And here, let me put the camera on your hubby too here. We were waiting for a while, and evidently someone's in the studio, and that's why we couldn't get in there. But then this lady comes out, and it turns out it's Deborah Harry. So she was using the studio first. So then shortly after, the door opens, and in walks Michael Jackson. And he's talking to some people, and then he sort of comes to and he meets us and everything. And I know I'm looking up at him, and he's looking down. He goes, "Hi," and he puts his hand down. I remember his hands were really cold, and his fingers were really thin. He goes, "Are you gonna sing with me today?" And I went, "Yeah," And so we did the thing where we went in the studio and they set us all up and everything, and we did that chorus. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it? And so we did that like quite a few times. They do multiple takes, and he was in the other room, just sort of, producing everything or managing it all. So it was a really cool experience. And I remember I got paid $54 for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So cool. And I didn't even realize there had been a children's chorus on that. Like, it's so cool to hear the sound and how it all came together to be
Yeah.
on a track.
And like that was before the Thriller album, right? This is kind of in between Off the Wall and
1980, yeah,
Thriller?
Triumph album.
Yeah,
so he was
Triumph.
big, but he was Off the Wall big. He wasn't Thriller big yet.
Right.
But still, it was really cool to meet him, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, kids are all intake, you know what I mean? So you don't always sort of know what you're doing, you know what I mean? It's just sort of like
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it was cool looking back on it now. Yeah,
Do you,
absolutely.
do you remember, did he have Jerry curls?
I don't remember that.
Hat?
And,
Wasn't quite
he
there
he
yet,
did
huh?
have a hat in the studio. I think he did. Yeah.
Okay, so he had
And
a style going.
definitely sunglasses. Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
Have to have the sunglasses. Michael Jackson.
Yes. I have one other question, though. Were any of the other brothers there?
No.
Just
It
Michael?
was just him.
So, okay. So that kind of is interesting because now here we see Michael kind of taking control and taking charge, right? I mean, because
Yes.
technically that was a Jackson song.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like Michael Jackson running the show on that part. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Solomon.
No problem. You'll never hear from me again. I'll be the silent producer now.
Comment down below, you guys. Do you guys love the song Can You Feel It? It's one of my favorites. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. That's a great first track of that album for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the story of how I almost met Michael Jackson. So we heard from Solomon. Have you met Michael Jackson just before I get into my story?
No, I've never met Michael Jackson. I've been to Neverland, but he wasn't there. So, no, I have not met Michael Jackson, but I felt his presence.
And he was in Neverland, you guys, in the early 2000s when Michael was still living there. Technically, he was still living there.
Yep.
He was invited in, and he has a really cool story about his time there. He rode some of the rides. He got some of the candy and what was it, popcorn or something?
Yep, got to hang out in the theater, watch some, of course, Michael Jackson music video. That's what us fans wanted to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a really cool experience, and I think you said you have the whole conversation we had about it on Patreon.
Yes, if you guys are interested, definitely join the MJ Fangirl Patreon. That's where you can find these full, unedited episodes completely in full video before the YouTube family gets to see it. I don't really upload the full clips on YouTube anymore. This is for the Patreon family and also on our Spotify. Special shout out goes to our Patreon Platinum sponsor, Marlis. Thank you so much for all your support and all that you do to support MJ Fangirl. You are the best.
If you want to hear what you might already know, and maybe a couple things you didn't know before, yeah, I pretty much lay it all out there in that conversation about that day. That was a really cool day.
Yes. Okay, so now we've got all the happy stories out of the way. No,
All
you
the
guys.
happy stories out of the
I
way.
know.
Okay.
Okay, it's not that. I mean, okay, let me just preface this by saying I'm so grateful to have been able to like even get the chance to travel, right? So let me just start this off by saying Michael Jackson was one of the people, or I would say the person that inspired me the most to even want to travel the world. And I loved growing up watching all the little clips from him, seeing him running with soldiers in different countries and being mobbed by fans. And I just thought it was so interesting. And so when I got the opportunity to study abroad in my junior year of high school, as well as in my it was my senior year of high school and my junior year of college, I got a chance to go to Japan. I studied Japanese in school and I lived with this host family. Super nice people. We are still close with them today. Like I can say that she's like my second mom. She's even come and like hung out with us and our daughter for probably like a good month's time.
And the Dodgers.
Oh, and the Dodgers. Big Ohtani fan.
And the Angels before he went to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But yeah, your host mom is really, really cool. I've met your host mom, her daughter, your host sister.
Yeah.
And really cool family. I mean, she's the most exciting person I've met. Really. She has like a big spirit where she's always like
energetic. Right?
Energetic, that's what it is, right? Very energetic, keeps the conversation going, makes the day fun, and yeah. And then when she's ready to go to sleep, she's done. That's it.
Yeah. But she's so fun and she was really supportive of like me and my love for Michael Jackson and classic film at the time. I was into like Marlon Brando and like all this like retro stuff. And she supported my love for Michael Jackson. And every time I would come, I would go to like the store called Blister in Tokyo, which was in a place called Shibuya. And they had like a lot of pop culture merchandise. So they would have like Star Wars figurines and expensive cool stuff that collectors would collect, but also Michael Jackson official t-shirts and merch.
Nice.
So I think I used to go to Japan probably once a year in the early 2000s. Ever since I went the first time, I'd go every year just to visit her. And I happened to be there in 2006. Now, this is very important because Michael Jackson also happened to be there at that same time.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to play a little clip that talks about this timing.
Yeah. I didn't really see a lot of the clips, so I'm kind of watching this with you guys right now.
Yes.
I want to chime in like, oh yeah, this is a clip, but let's see what it is.
Yes. I ended up in Tokyo at the right time, at the same time as him, and I was like, okay, this has to be the reason why I'm here right now. This has to be the moment. This has to be the time when I'm going to meet Michael. So I did some research, found out that he was going to be accepting this MTV award, and my host sister, who was gracious enough to find the information online for me, let me know that there was a chance that you could stand on the red carpet. You could be kind of like a spectator for absolutely free. It was in Yoyogi Stadium, which is in the Harajuku area. This is the note that my host mom left for me. Oh, here she says, Michael ni aeru to ii ne. I hope you meet Michael. 電話、オペラグラス持って行ってね。 take the cell phone and the binoculars with you. So she left her cell phone, which, because at the time I didn't have a cell phone, and the binoculars for me to take because she thought I might be far away and she thought it might help me to see Michael. So that's me about 8 years ago when I first started the channel. And that's me talking about my experience. And that was like, yeah, one of the first videos that I did in general. So a lot of you guys may not have seen that. So I wanted to just play my own little clip because at that point, 8 years ago, I think when I recorded that, I was a lot closer to the situation and recounting it.
Can I say you speak Japanese very well in
Oh,
that clip?
yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah. Her Japanese is really good. And your host mom was always like, oh, yeah, you're Japanese. You're doing really good. You're always kind of scared when she shows up. Like, I don't know if my Japanese good anymore.
I know. I'm always nervous, but I keep up with it enough to like be able to have like a casual combo and stuff. But yeah.
Can we get I almost met Michael Jackson in Japan in Japanese?
No. Okay, I'm just gonna tell my. He always wants to make
Come
me speak
on.
Japanese.
You
and
did
now-
it there.
I know, but now I'm nervous.
All right. Next time.
All right. Anyway, he always tries to get me to speak Japanese, and I'm like, not gonna do
She
it.
won't. If we're like at a store where there's Japanese speaking people, I go speak Japanese to them. She's like, no, I can't. No. She's very nervous about it, but she's great speaking Japanese. So, anyways, back to the story.
Yes, thank you. So the thing is that Michael was making his very first appearance since he was acquitted in 2005 in the trial. It was his first appearance public, and he was going to do this in Japan. And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of background on the appearance in general, because a lot of people are probably like, why was Michael Jackson even in Tokyo? I have a little statement about his visit to Japan. So here it is. It's from the Washington Post, May 25th, 2006. I look forward to my visit to Japan because I have so many fond memories of my visits there. I thank MTV Japan for this honor and Mr. Morris for spearheading this visit. I look forward to seeing old friends and saying hello to my huge fan base in Japan, who, like my other fans around the world, have for so many years consistently shown their love and support to me and my family. Now, the Mr. Morris he's referencing is Broderick Morris. He was CEO of a entertainment promotion company called Positive Productions Yokohama. And so this is the guy that kind of like was in charge of Michael's visit to Japan.
Did not know that. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe he reached out to Michael and invited him to Japan, and Michael was like, all right, and my Japanese fans have been pretty loyal, like he said right there, and
Yeah.
it's time to get back out there and keep moving.
Right, exactly. And so I think because the Japanese fans are so supportive and loving when it comes to Michael, and I think this was just like a good like place to relaunch himself into the public because he kind of disappeared for a while. I'm not sure I think he moved out of the country, but I don't remember where.
That's right, somewhere in the Middle East or something, right?
Right.
Get away from all the drama.
Yeah. So, okay. So the VMAs were the main reason that he came. He was going to be honored at the VMAs by MTV Japan, which is a totally separate entity than MTV here, by the way. So they were going to present him with this like big legacy or lifetime achievement award kind of thing. And my host sister, well, first of all, I kind of looked it up because I had seen a clip of the news that talked about Michael Jackson being in Japan at that time. And then I looked it up on MJJ Forum, which is now MJJC, but was MJJ Forum. And the fans were like saying, yeah, he's there or whatever. And, he's probably staying at this hotel. And at that time, like, I just was not like in the mindset of like, oh, let me go stay at the hotel for 20 hours and see if he walks out. That wasn't my mindset. But I will say that when I heard that he was going to be on the VMA's red carpet, then I was like, okay, maybe I could get a chance to go and see him. And so my host sister looked it up because obviously, like, it's in the newspaper, like the little, the seat filler information, how you can be part of the audience and all that. She told me how to get there, and she offered to come with me. So that was cool because it's like, who wants to go to that alone? I would have went alone, but it was nice to have company, especially because at that time I was 2006. I was 20. No, I wasn't even 20, right? I was 19, I think.
18, 19, yeah.
18, 19. And so my Japanese was still a little bit like it was rockier than it is now back then because by that time I was only studying a couple years.
Yeah, and you were just a kid, so it was nice to have company, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so so we get there, we're waiting to get in, and they're basically like filing people in. It's probably like 100 people waiting online, which is in retrospect not that many people, but it felt like a lot to me then. Um, and you waited online, and when you waited online, they gave you this goodie bag of stuff. And I do have a picture, Solomon, if we could show that. Um, so here's a goodie bag of stuff. You can see like, I also have some newspaper clippings from his visit during that time, which was not given out. But I actually have the bag here, and I'll just.
Okay, so the awards was after his visit to these places. Then I didn't even know that.
Well, no, the award show was his first public appearance.
Okay.
I just took that picture after, so it's a little confusing. I have all the stuff that they gave out that day, like all the
At the MTV
at the
Awards.
MTV Awards, right? Like they gave like all these random little clippings and stuff, and then just random stuff. But then when I came home after that trip, I like documented all of the visuals
see.
from his trip in general.
Okay, I'm confused. I thought that was in the bag too. I was like, oh wow, they're giving you like magazine cutouts.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, but I've never
That's the
shown.
proof.
Yeah, and I've never shown this to you, right? We've never even talked about this, and we're married, by the way. So
We are?
for those of you who've never seen the show before, we never really talked about the fact that like I had almost met Michael, which is weird. Why? Maybe I like briefly told you, and you were like, "Cool, TTYL, bye."
It was mostly just like Michael Jackson chat, like, guess this lyric, and you would always guess it right.
Yeah,
A couple times I got you, but yeah, I mean, there wasn't really a lot of deep conversations going on. We were just, MJ chat friends.
right. Back then,
Yeah.
and so I've never really gone into this story with you, so that's why you're like, "Oh, what is all this stuff?"
Yeah.
So okay, so back to some of the details. I wore one of my shirts from the Blister store that I told you guys about earlier, which is in Tokyo. It was like they would sell $100 t-shirts with Michael's face on them. I wore a bright pink t-shirt because I thought, and it was actually the one that I'm wearing in that video that I just showed you guys, because I thought, oh, Michael's gonna notice me if I wear a really bright color. And then the other thing is they had, when you actually got into the red carpet, once they released you from like the initial barricades and got you where you're lined up along the red carpet, they had artists that were playing like a pre-show. And they still do this today where a lot of award shows will have like pre-Grammy show or whatever. And now they show it on TV. Back then, I don't know if it was on television, but Rihanna played for the very first time, and she played Pon de Replay, which was like her first big hit.
And you saw that?
I saw that.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
And I was the only one that was like, "Oh, Rihanna, this is cool." And like, I kind of knew of her.
Oh, you didn't know of her back in 2006?
Yeah, because
Wow.
yeah.
I didn't know she was popular back then, but who was it that kind of brought her? Was it Jay-Z or somebody that kind of signed her early on? Or
I think it was Jay-Z.
I don't know if it signed her, but kind of
But
let the public know she's a good artist. Like, she's got something here.
I think that was after Pon de Replay. I think you're right. I think she had like a couple hits, and then she went and signed to Rockefeller Records. I have no idea. We have to look that up.
And a small tidbit is that she is your Barbados sister.
Yes, yeah. My my maternal side is from Barbados, so I do feel that special connection to Rihanna.
Yep. It's a cool little tidbit.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Thank you, Solomon. Okay, so here it says Mia Motley signed. Oh, she signed with Def Jam in 2005. Got it. Okay, so she was a Def Jam artist then.
Oh, cool. Yeah, they knew 20 years ago that she was going to be something, huh?
Yes.
How old is she now? I mean, Solomon, how old is she now?
The worldwide internet.
Yeah. WWW. So 20 years ago, she was 17 years old. She could have been 16, 17.
Wow.
Yeah, 37 now.
Wow.
She was a baby on that stage singing for you.
I know. And probably, I mean, to be honest, I might have been one of the only people in the crowd that even knew who she was at that time. Because she was just debuting in America. And this is like just debuting also in Japan.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I have one more little factoid for you guys here.
Let's see.
yes.
Right there. You talked
Let's
about where Michael Jackson left.
Oh, yes. Okay, so Michael lived in Bahrain. That's right, and Ireland.
In Ireland, yeah.
I
Oh, he
remember.
did the interview with will.i.am
Yeah.
when they were in the studio. I
Okay.
never stopped creating. I never stopped making music.
I remember that.
That was a cool one.
Okay.
Come on, will.i.am, give us the tracks. I know you don't want to, but give it to us.
I know.
We need it.
I know.
He refuses.
Okay, so all right, let me continue the story about Rihanna now. Watch the Rihanna show, and then it starts raining. It starts drizzling, and they
On Rihanna?
on Rihanna and on us, all
Huh.
waiting there, which is to me more important, okay? Because I was like, okay, it's raining. At least Rihanna is only on the stage for 3 minutes.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, it's raining now. We pop up our umbrellas. They come out and they say, we can't use our umbrellas.
Messing up the cameras or something? Camera
I
angles?
think
or-
it's, I don't know why. It was just, I guess they were filming something and they told us we can't use our umbrellas.
Did they tell you in Japanese?
Yes, they did.
What did they say? I mean, yeah. I mean, you're a crowd, right? You're supposed to be there watching the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're there in the rain. Now, my host sister's there. Now, mind you, she's not a Michael Jackson fan. So now we're going on 3 hours of just waiting in the rain. We're waiting. They tell us, we can get a little bit closer now because we're getting closer to the showtime. So I have a picture of how close I was. So this is actually from my Sony CyberShot camera. Seriously, this is my own picture. This is where I was. Okay.
Who are those celebrities walking in?
Those are the hosts of the VMAs.
Oh, those are the hosts?
Those are the hosts. I don't remember their names at this moment.
That's a great shot.
But yeah, and
For a little camera back 20 years ago.
think about Michael walking right there. Like I would have been there. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get emotional,
The
but
pound on the books.
I-
Right here. Scared
so
me.
so we waited there 6 hours go by. Now it's starting to get dark and the people are still there. Most people are still there. They've got ponchos and everything. And there are a lot of Michael Jackson fans. They've got these signs and poster boards, I love Michael, and writing in Japanese how much they love Michael Jackson. And they're making these announcements about Michael and they're saying he's not here yet, and we're not sure if he's coming. And I really couldn't understand the Japanese at that point. So anyone out there that knows anything about the Japanese language, there is an kind of it's honorifics. So sometimes there's a regular way of speaking, then there's a way of speaking to someone that might be younger than you or below you, and then there's a way of speaking in a very polite way. So you might hear the people in the train station conductors talking like this, or if you go to McDonald's or any restaurant, the servers will talk to you like this because they're talking, to you as a client. And that's how they were talking. And I was like, I didn't really know that honorifics, I didn't really understand it. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, I had to rely on my host sister who was like, oh, he's not coming, which might have been what they said for real. I don't think she would lie to me.
5 or 6 hours later, they might think it I guess he's not coming.
Right. And so I was kind of sad, but I was torn because us as Michael Jackson fans, you're that close. You've already been waiting in the rain. You want to wait for him. There's nothing in me that was like, let's go home. I was just like, if he said he was going to come and the fans are saying this on MJJ Forum, he's coming, right?
Should be. I mean, I guess he was kind of notorious, right, for showing up late, but we didn't know that back then. You're just kid,
Well, we didn't know, but we also we wouldn't put him past him, I think that's the thing. We would have always given Michael the benefit of the doubt as fans.
And at this point, you're okay, 5, 6 hours in. Were there restroom breaks? Were you able to leave, go to the restroom, come back, get your spot?
No.
No, you were just stuck there, holding it in. Another reason, okay, it's been 6 hours.
I don't care. I don't even think I brought anything. I think I brought, or my host sister was probably like, do you want some green tea? And I was like, no, thank you. Because I'm not leaving this spot.
No, okay. I mean, that's a long time. So what happened next?
Okay. So then we end up leaving. She's just like, oh, it's just really bad. Michael, it's just terrible. He had us wait so long and we should just leave because they said he's probably not coming. And I was just I remember being torn and walking away with her and being like, okay, what are we going to do now? And walking away, but like looking behind me, like, are you sure he's not coming? Like, I'm all the way in Japan and I'm right here at the front of the red carpet. Also, I had in my mind that perhaps he would notice me, especially because I was like, okay, I'm in a sea of Japanese people and I'm the only American and I'm the only black person here. So he surely has got to notice me and be like,
That's what I was gonna say. You're like, oh, I'm gonna wear a pink shirt. I could stand out. Well, there's another reason you could stand out.
yeah.
Another reason, you're in a sea of Japanese people, like you said.
Yeah. And I was right in the front. Anyway, so we walk away. We go to this spot called Jangaya Ramen. I think that's what it's called, Jangaya Ramen. And we go and get ramen and warm up. And it's just a couple blocks away. We slowly make our ways back to the train station. And she's kind of like, yeah, like, that was really bad what Michael did to his fans. Like, he made you guys wait and he didn't even come. Like, that's bad. Like,
Well, I mean, from her perspective, I do understand that if you're waiting there for 5 or 6 hours and,
for someone that you don't even care about.
yeah, and then they tell you he's not coming.
Yeah.
They tell you he's not coming. She's probably like, well, why were we just here for 5 or 6 hours? But I don't know. Surprise, surprise.
All right. So I have a clip, and I'm going to tell you guys through this clip that I recorded 8 years ago what happened next. And she had been videotaping the whole time, guys, MTV, you know, the pre-awards show and everything. And she rewound the tape. Guys, it was not even 45 minutes of rewinding. Like, she just rewound and Michael was there. And she showed me that footage of Michael coming out of the car. And I'll show you guys here. Again, this is the photo of me and how close I was. And this is how close Michael was to that area.
Fangirl. You had one time. Were you on the gate too? Before? On the gate? Yeah.
You guys see, he kind of went over and he greeted fans. And once I saw that, I was so devastated. I was so sad. I was heartbroken. I was like, oh my goodness, I was right there. I was devastated. Like, I can't even explain to you how I felt because, yeah, I mean, I didn't show you guys the full exact clip, but I was trying to say that my host mother was recording the whole time. So when my host sister and I got home, she was like, oh, did you see him? How was it? Because she was recording. She was the one that was recording, my host mother. So we both got home. She shows me this tape. Yeah, with this picture here. Again, like, I wasn't even, you see how there are people behind him? I wasn't even there. I was to the side. He went up to the fans.
Yeah, he went right up to the fans.
And like, what? Look. And he looks great. He looks like he's in good spirits. And this, again, would have been a moment that I would have loved to see him, to show that support, because America kind of like turned their back on him in a way where they took him through this long, lengthy trial and this and that. And I feel like he really didn't know how much the fans still loved him, you know? And I would have loved to be that ambassador from the United States to say, like, we still love you. We love you.
Still love you.
I know.
Why should you come here?
I know. That's the thing. Like, I just keep thinking, like, Michael and I could have had a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it was quick. It was quick. Whatever he did, he just kind of came over and said, hey, guys, and then
Right.
took off. But still, for you being, whatever, 17, 18 years old, it probably would have been the world right there. That'd have been like,
Even now,
I met Michael.
even now, like, if I was this age back then, I would have been like, Michael.
Yep. I mean, I feel your pain. I really do. I mean, again, you were on the gate, right? You were right there where the fans walked up to, or
Yeah.
where Michael walked up to, right?
Yes.
Where the fans were? They all had ponchos. You didn't have a poncho. That's why you took out an umbrella, huh?
Right, exactly. So bad preparation on my part. But I was there. And so for a long time, I was really sad about this because I'll explain to you a little bit more of where I was coming from and why I was so sad. I grew up like on the forums and having online friends such as yourself. But like on the forums, you would always read about people that were like a year or two older than me. and that were like, oh, we're going to go to the courthouse and support Michael for this, or we're going to go to Neverland and go to this after party celebration for whatever. And I always felt like, and they would kind of make you feel guilty in a way. Like, I don't know. A couple of the fans would make it feel like, well, if you are such a big fan, like, we didn't meet him because we're lucky. We just came here because we're supporting him. So why wouldn't you come out and do the same? And I always was like, I was all into my schoolwork. My parents were on the stricter side, so they're not going to be like, oh, yeah, you can go to Santa Maria and stand outside Michael Jackson's courthouse when you have finals.
That's
That-
not gonna happen.
no, but I knew a fan, and shout out to you if you are watching or ever watched the show, but she quit, or she took like a leave from college and would work a restaurant, like a server job that was very flexible. And whenever Michael would be like at a certain mall or a certain place, location, or during the trial, she would be able to just leave.
Hmm.
And people would get jobs, part-time jobs, to save their money just to follow Michael on tour. Like they would say, okay, I'm going to work for these 8 months, stack my money, and then when he goes on tour, I'm just going to go with the tour and follow him. So that's the kind of fans that were around. And so I always felt guilty, like, man, I'm not showing my love and support. So I felt like this was going to give me extra points to show like I was there for Michael in Japan. Hello.
Yeah, it's just funny that I don't know. It's weird that people would say, okay, because you didn't come and support at the courthouse, if you lived in California, you should have came. Because for me, like I never thought once, oh, I'm gonna go to the court. But I also thought in my head, I'm the biggest Michael Jackson fan in the world. So I guess people just have different mindsets about their fandom. Like some people have access to money and a car and get there and back. They're a little bit more responsible. Back then, I probably wasn't very responsible, and I probably wouldn't have made it there or back one way. Something would have happened, and I'd just
Right.
rather just be there with my headphones, listen to my music, listen to
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, looking up videos. That was my thing. Biggest Michael Jackson fan in the world.
Right.
But I never showed up to anything where Michael was, so sorry.
Right. And you never felt like guilty about it. You were just like, you never felt
No.
that, right?
No, and I also wasn't on the forums. I mean, I
Right.
think I looked at them a little bit early on when I was a kid, but I never posted on forums, had conversations, never read into people's, like, whatever they were saying about you should show up.
Right. I know.
I got my show up right here in my headphones. I showed up.
And that's the way it should be, right? Because like the love for Michael Jackson is such a personal thing, and we all love Michael, and we have these special like relationships with him because of the music. So why was there that pressure? I guess I put it on myself too, to like show up and be there and all that. And yeah, I think that's why this moment made me exceptionally like sad, because I felt like, oh man, that was my only one and only chance to be that close and to be in a sea of people where I might stick out and to be right there. So
I mean, can't dwell on the past too much, but yeah, you were right there.
yeah, I was.
You were right there. But I mean, 6 hours, that's a long time for a kid to be hanging out in the rain. And then for the people that work there to say, yeah, he's not coming. I mean, it's really not your fault in the end.
Right.
It's sad. It's sad because you could have met him. Not really met him, but been like, oh my gosh, he almost touched my hand.
Right.
Or whatever.
And people also always like when they watch this channel, they're always like, have you met Michael Jackson before? And I'm like, no. And then I always think about this moment. But we've had so many other cool experiences. Like you've been to Neverland. I've now been inside Havenhurst a bunch of times. We've been there together.
Yep.
Gotten a chance to talk with Michael's kids, especially Prince Jackson's always so nice and lovely to us. Spoken with collaborators. So, I mean, we've never met Michael. I've never met Michael, but I definitely can say that, a lot of the experiences have been like once in a lifetime for sure.
Yeah. And then, like you said, to get into the Havenhurst property and see the family there and talk to them, being open and stuff, you kind of get that feeling like, okay, this is the spirit of Michael's still here. His presence is still with them, and
Yeah,
it's like the next best thing. What I mean, he's gone, so
right.
this is what we get now: is showing up to events with fans and showing up to the Thriller night if we can go, and yeah, meeting his family and meeting all the people that worked with him. Like you get to interview a lot of cool people that work with him. That's another way to get close to what it was like to know Michael, be with Michael, all
Yes.
that stuff.
Yes, and more interviews coming up soon. So make sure that you guys are subscribing or following, leaving us a 5-star rating on one of your podcast platforms, whether that's Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, you name it. YouTube, subscribe, press the notification bell so that you get notified every time I press upload.
It was right
Yes.
there. It was right there.
Yes. And then, okay, so we've talked about my devastation, but we can't just end on that because we got to talk about the rest of the trip. Michael, it's not just about me, it's about Michael, right?
Yes.
So we have to go into the rest of the trip. There is a clip that I did want to show from when he actually got inside the VMAs because my moment stopped once I walked away from the red carpet. But once Michael entered the red carpet, he actually did get on stage and do his speech. So let's watch that now.
Let's check it out. Cool, Put the glasses off. Can we talk while the video's on? Does it count?
First, I'd like to say
He's busy.
thank you, MTV Japan.
Looks healthy. Looks good.
But most of all, I'd like to say to the Japanese people, from the bottom of my heart, I love you very, very much. I promised myself when I came up here that I wouldn't get emotional because I think you're very sweet, generous, kind people. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. I thank the fans around the world and the fans in Japan. I love you more. I say thank you to all the people that believe in me, and I believe in you, and I love you very much. Thank you so, so much.
So excited.
What was it? What's it called? Thank you. I think it's in Japanese.
Thank you.
That's that.
Wow.
Imagine if he had done a spin. People would have gone
Right?
crazy.
Little move here. He would have been, yeah.
He used to do that, right? At award shows, he'd be like, and then people go like,
Just from a little move. Just a little, some feet action here.
yeah.
Ah, Michael, I love you more.
But I love that clip because it shows like how Michael felt like with the reception from the audience and the crowd, you know. I think I've read in some books and some accounts like people said that Michael was kind of worried about how people would receive him after 2005 and that whole trial and all that. So it was so cool to see him get all that love. And I actually have the recording of the VMAs on a VHS tape, like a live from Japanese TV still. So I didn't bring it, but I still have it. It's somewhere in our collection.
Yeah. I mean, that's really cool. There's nobody in the world who could just walk down the stage like that and get a huge outburst from the crowd.
Right.
It's like, Michael. It hasn't happened since. I don't know if it happened before. I don't think so. And yeah, I mean, this is boys, girls, men, women, like everybody is crazy about Michael and these events, these concerts, and yeah, he still had it.
Yeah.
He had the love around the world for sure.
Definitely. And like he actually went to a bunch of other places during this visit. He appeared on the show Smap Smap. For those of you guys that might not know, Smap is like one of the biggest boy bands in Japanese history, one of the biggest J-pop bands. They had a show and he went on Smap Smap and surprised them. And there's like this famous scene of one of the guys in Smap being like, "Oh, I thought that was a mannequin." Because like, I mean, who would ever think they would see Michael Jackson in person like that? Like,
Yeah, if you're getting surprised by Michael Jackson showing up to your show, you don't know. You like, oh, that must just be like a little wax figure. Cool, bring it out.
yeah.
That's Michael Jackson.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And he also went to an orphanage to visit some kids, as well as he went to Tokyo Disneyland, which he shut down, and I went to Tokyo Disney Sea the day before because I thought he might be there. He also went to Blister, the store that I told you that I bought that pink shirt from, a couple days later when I was not there. And my
You were trying everything.
And my host's mom was like, because he was there for a couple of days, and she was like, oh, she was like, there's something in Japanese that says like there's something that binds you together. I forgot what she said, but the phrase was like "enga tsuyoi," like your connection to Michael could be could be strong, right? During this whole time. So she's like, I'll go with you to Disneyland. We can go to like Blister. And like every day time I would go, he would go like a day later or have already went the night before. And by the end of this trip, she was just like, actually, your connection to Michael is weak.
That sounds like your host mama right there. For
She's
sure.
she's funny, but
She's a big time joker for sure.
anyway, so yeah, so I did want to show a clip of Michael at the orphanage because you guys, look, Michael did not let all this stuff keep him down. He always was about charity and giving back, and he even visited an orphanage. And there's a little news clip of his visit.
Pop star Michael Jackson made a rare appearance in Tokyo Sunday while visiting an orphanage. Dozens of fans lined the street to get a glimpse of the gloved one, but couldn't see much because of the dark, tinted windows. This is the first time that Jackson's been out and about since he was acquitted of child molestation charges last year. Jackson told the audience he loved them in English and Japanese and choked up a little bit during a brief speech. Jackson left the orphanage holding the hand of a young masked girl who rushed up and hugged him just before he left. Jackson was in Tokyo to accept MTV Japan's Legend Award. He's been living in Bahrain for nearly a year. Nancy Lyons.
Classic MJ, hanging out and visiting an orphanage, always giving back to the community. And,
Yeah.
like I think he would visit hospitals and bring gifts and just bring spirits up for the kids that just don't have a good life at the moment.
Right. And that's what the cool thing was, I think, about Michael is that he not only dedicated money, but he also dedicated his time, which is like a lot of people say is the most valuable currency, right? That you never know how much time you have. Excuse me. And he often would go himself, not sending like, his team or whatever. He would just be there. And I thought that was really cool. And then just that little clip where they said the little masked girl ran up to him. That was Paris.
Oh,
Maybe they didn't know.
yeah, I
at the
guess
time.
not.
But Michael used to have his kids wear masks to like help conceal their identities and stuff, which was really good because then they could grow up and be anonymous.
That makes sense because he was like leaning down, talking to her, like, okay, that's his daughter. Got it.
Yeah.
You good? Everything good? All right, we're gonna get out of here soon. Don't worry.
So it's cool. Yeah, that was my trip to Japan. And my time almost meeting him. So yeah, I think again, like I said, Michael has inspired me in so many ways, and one of them was to like try to become like this global citizen and like visit a lot of different places and really like be mindful of like how I represented myself because I'd be representing my country and my heritage and all that. And like I think that's what Michael did like 1,000 times over. And I did that episode a couple weeks back with Randall, who said like Michael Jackson has, he's kind of like American as apple pie. I don't know if you saw that clip, but he basically meant to say that like Michael is such a big representation of American pop culture. And so to see how that really like carried out being overseas at the moment myself was a really cool sight to see, even if I didn't really meet him.
Yeah, Michael Jackson right there. I mean, that's a really cool way to say it. Michael Jackson is as American as apple pie, right?
Yeah.
Like he's an American figure, American pop star, American man,
Yeah.
and yeah, represented it very well.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So I'm curious, you guys. Now, has anybody listening to the show met Michael Jackson out there? Leave some comments and let us know what your close encounters might have been waiting for Michael outside of a place like me. Did you ever actually meet Michael? I know that there are lots of fans that come in the comments sometimes on YouTube especially and say like, oh, I met Michael and he talked with us and he sent pizza down for us while we were waiting. And yeah, there's so many cool stories like that, or people that went to the rehearsals for This Is It more recently, like in the 2008, 2009, and got to actually have conversations with him. So, or then there are people like in the 80s that'll be like, hey, I met Michael Jackson. We went to a show the other day, and this guy was like, hey, I installed Michael's 7-car garage in Havenhurst for him. You remember that?
The guy who's sitting right in front of us at the tribute show. Yeah, that was really cool.
So I feel like a lot of people in this town, of course, because Michael lived here for so long, have a lot of Michael Jackson stories.
Yeah, definitely comment below because this lady right here, she chimes in, she reads all your comments, leave some feedback about any experiences you might have had with Michael, or if you had an almost met Michael Jackson moment just like her, leave that there too.
Yes.
That way she knows she's not the only one in the world.
Yes, I won't feel so alone. So before we head out of here, I just want to remind everybody to join the MJ Fangirl Patreon. I post 3 pieces of exclusive content over there every single month. I do lots of reaction videos. I also am posting these videos that I'm doing in studio for the Patreon audience first. So that's where you're going to catch it ad-free also, which is like a big bonus if you don't like those YouTube ads. Go over there and support the show. All of it goes back to, just supporting everything that we're doing over here, creating these awesome conversations about the king of pop, Michael Jackson. And there's also a live chat, so you can chat with other fans as well as DM with myself. So definitely check that out. It's at patreon.com/MJFangirl. And I guess until next time, see you guys later.
Great chat.